Yes, I know, Lewis. It smells like a saloon. I'm just going to open the window.
Morning, sir.
You're one of those people who has breakfast, aren't you?
Oh, yes, sir. So, what's the programme today?
I don't know.
Right.
Morning. Anyway, my car will be ready at lunchtime. Can't think in these other cars.
Well, that's good then, isn't it?
It's all right. It's a car.
I've got something to add to the Jackson file.
Which is?
He deposited £250 in the post office on the afternoon he was killed.
Really?
In cash.
Was this significant? I thought he did odd jobs.
Well, I'll check, but I don't think it was money he got for a job.
Well, I don't see why not.
Well, that's because you're in a bad mood. Why don't we assume it was money he got to be paid off?
OK.
And let's assume that it was Richards that paid him off, because Jackson had seen something going on in Jericho on the afternoon Anne Staveley died. The money was for Jackson to keep his mouth shut, but signs were Jackson wasn't going to do that, so Richards bumped him off.
See, and this is despite the fact that his wife says she went to Jericho, not him. Another woman swears he was in her bed at the time, and I swear he was giving a lecture when Jackson was killed.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, I think you're probably right, Lewis. At least that's the way it ought to happen, but just doesn't get us anywhere.
Well, I've been asking myself if someone else could have killed Jackson for Richards. And if so, who? His wife? His brother?
You're very sparky this morning.
Oh, you can't beat a cooked breakfast. And it's also my birthday. That might be something to do with it.
Go and see the brother, then. Ask him if he killed Jackson. And take his fingerprints. And the other ones, too, while you're about it. And the wife's. And find out if Jackson's recently been paid for a job, because if he has, your theory's all to cock. I mean, Anne Staveley could have taken that £100 out to pay Jackson for some job he did for her. In fact, that could be part of the 250.
No, it isn't. Anne Staveley paid him by cheque. I've got her cheque stub and his pay in counterfoil.
Yeah, it's all right, Lewis. No need to go mad. Come on, then. We'll celebrate your birthday.
Oh, no, thanks, sir. It's a bit early for me.
Suit yourself.
The boys' parents are driving down this evening. I've no idea what I'm going to say to them.
And why should they expect you to say anything?
Well, I'm his tutor. I had no idea about the drugs business. And now this. I gather that the family, his family, are childless. That's the other thing.
Really?
Apparently, yes, there's cystic fibrosis on the mother's side. I don't quite know why, but she told me when I telephoned her, Edwin was adopted.
I didn't know.
No.
I want to send one of my sergeants round later to look through his belongings, unless you have any objection.
Well...
Look, it's just routine. No, we're not intending to prosecute, despite the fact that he assaulted a police officer. Worse, he assaulted this police officer. No, he's punished himself, so there's no point.
Well, that's very... Well, thank you. Well, in that case, of course, we shouldn't object to...
What an idiot. It's been staring me in the face.
I'm sorry, but what has?
Who killed Anne Staveley? It's been staring me in the face. The same person was trying to find whatever it was they were looking for when they killed Jackson.
Problem is, it couldn't have been Tony Richards, because he was with me.
Certainly wasn't his brother. I didn't get that good a look at the man, but I'll swear it wasn't Alan Richards.
I know it wasn't. Alan Richards is in London on some conference or other.
Is he now? Should have bloody well asked.
Anyway, he can't be a suspect any longer.
Did you get Tony's prints?
Oh, yeah. I liked him, actually. I don't think he'd kill anybody. I did like him.
Speaks very highly of you, Lewis. What about Adele Richards? Is she in London, too?
No, she's in Banbury still. Very happy to give a statement and her fingerprints. Very repentant. Oh, she also spent the evening Jackson died with Tony, she says. So that's his alibi.
Convenient. Very close family, aren't they? Is she still saying she went to the house and burnt the love letters her husband wrote to Ann Staley?
And that she paid the parking ticket. She did as well.
You see the check stuff?
Yeah. So I was wrong about Richards then. He didn't kill either of them.
Oh, no, he didn't kill Ann Staley. No, Richards didn't kill her, but I'll tell you who did. Do you want to know?
Are you taking the piss?
No, I'm not. The man who killed Ann Staley is called Sophocles.
Where was he when he's at home?
Look, I want you to do a couple of things for me, then I'll explain everything. I want to know the name of the other driver when Ann Staley's husband was killed, and then I want to know what happened to the son she had adopted. Social services will tell you. And if they get stroppy and awkward, get very stroppy and awkward back.
Do I know this Sophocles?
Only if you loved your mother, Lewis.
Excuse me, sir. Sarge, you said to let you know about those prints. Tony Richards and his brother's wife.
Adele Richards?
Yeah, that's right.
And?
Neither of them match with the ones we got from in here.
Still, at least we can make one arrest.
Who's that?
This Sophocles chap.
Lewis, Sophocles died 2,500 years ago.
What are you doing? You just ragging me, or what?
No.
You are, aren't you? Look, OK, I don't know who this bloke is. Am I supposed to? At least I can survive half hour's work without reaching for a beer glass.
That's a good idea, Lewis. We still haven't celebrated your birthday. Come on. And I'll tell you why I'm deadly serious about Sophocles. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And the same price, 5 to 1 Mighty Falls. I've got some palladium now brought back last. It's Denny left the leader still.
No, actually, it was your birthday set me off, or partly. You see... No, first things first. You know all about the Oedipus complex, Lewis, where you want to bed your mum and bury your dad, yeah?
I know the gist.
Oh, the gist will do fine. Sophocles wrote a play about it. Oedipus the King. Now, Oedipus was this big tyrant, a big man, who found out that the woman he'd married was his mother, and a man he'd killed in an argument at a crossroads was his father. So Jocasta, who was his wife and his mum, when she found out, guess what she did?
Kills him.
No. She hangs herself.
Oh, I see.
Interesting, eh?
I can't imagine marrying my mother.
Well, Oedipus wasn't too happy about it either.
Wasn't she a bit old for it?
She was very attractive. No. After she's hanged herself, he poked his own eyes out. Any of this sound familiar?
Yeah. Ann Staley, innit? And she had a son who she had adopted.
Right. And guess who I find out today is an adopted son?
Edwin Murdoch.
Yes. And guess whose birthday falls on the same day Ann Staley died?
Edwin Murdoch. It's just coincidence.
Ann Staley had a copy of the Sophocles by her bed. She'd almost certainly at one time or another had Ned Murdoch in her bed. Now, I know it sounds incredible, but maybe that's the point. I mean, why else should an intelligent, attractive woman suddenly decide to do something so terrible? I mean, why else does a talented young man blind himself?
Yeah, but what about killing the father? Where does that go? I go and find out who else was involved in the car crash.
Right.
Bloody hell.
Right.
Oh, it's impossible.
No. The only coincidence, really, is that Ann Staley's adopted son should turn up in Oxford. It's quite possible they should find themselves attracted to each other. The rest, after they found out, well, that's the product of something else. That's some kind of bizarre kind of atonement. No. I know.
Bloody hell. So Sophocles did it? Bloody hell. Afraid there's nothing to report yet, sir.
Son, there's no point in haggling with social services. Go direct to the Murdoch boys. Easy enough to find.
Yes, I've tried that, but he's being operated on again today. They're trying to rescue the... Well, he's got a retina damage. Anyways, they said I can go back tomorrow, but in the meantime...
In the meantime, you and I are going to the Richards office. And you better make all your appointments early tomorrow. We're all meeting at Canal Reach for lunch.
Sorry, sir. Who's we?
Oh, everybody. And I'll tell you something else for nothing. If I'm right, well, we were wrong, and Anne did commit suicide, there's a note somewhere. I want to read it. Oh, good man.
Can I help you?
Chief Inspector Moore, CID. I'd like to speak to Tony Richards.
I'm afraid Mr. Richards is at lunch. Can I take a message?
No, I don't think so. When do you expect him?
I'm sorry, he may not be back again today, sir. He wasn't sure.
Yes, it's always a dilemma, isn't it? Coming back after lunch. We'd like to look around the offices.
I think one of the partners would prefer to show you rather than...
I haven't got time to muck about.
You take Tony's office, I'll ransack Alan's.
Mrs. Richards? Sorry to bother you, it's Jill. The police are here without a search warrant. Yes. Can you come over here as soon as possible? Okay, thank you. Bye.
Oh, there's nothing in there, sir. What have you found?
Listen to this, Lewis. Brilliant. Amazing sound.
Where was it?
It was filed under B for blackmail. I'm serious.
So, Jackson was blackmailing him then?
It looks like it. Except...
Except?
I'm not sure, but I can't believe Jackson wrote that letter.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. It's too... Dear Mr. Richards, it's about Mrs. Staveley who died. I know all about her, but does Mrs. Richards? No.
Well, we know he wasn't very clever. There wasn't a single book in his house.
Well, that's the point. Whoever wrote that wants you to think he's not very clever. But that letter... There's nothing to misunderstand. Despite the spelling, despite the punctuation, it doesn't affect what's being said. It's as clear as crystal. No, Jackson didn't write that letter. And if he didn't, Lewis, who the hell did write it?
I hope you've got a very good explanation for entering these offices without a warrant.
I have. I'm just photocopying it. I'll have to keep the original, but this is for your reference.
He knows something, doesn't he? No, I think it's a complete bluff. He's trying to force us into some sort of confession. All he's got is that blackmail letter, and that's easily dealt with. You reckon?
I can't stand this place. It gives me the willies. Look at it, as if a coat of paint on that door would do any good.
Oh, don't go maudlin on us.
Right. I've told lies and covered up and been humiliated on your behalf, but yes, I'll try not to go maudlin.
There it comes.
Sorry I'm late. Still, nice day, eh? Tony Richards? We haven't met, I'm Morse. I thought you'd let yourselves in. Shall we go into the front room? That's probably best. What do you think, Alan?
Sure, yes.
Might as well sit down, eh? Anybody play? I wonder what'll happen to these things. Look, there's your lovely turntable gathering dust. Tragic.